Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Propel series playoffs of Active Rush versus Omega Gaming Alpha. This time the teams have swapped sides. Active Rush is going to be on blue side, and Omega Gaming Alpha going to be on red to start us off in the draft. My name is Diatripa. I am joined by the one and only rudest of dudes here on the desk, and we talked about the adaptations that we want to see from Omega Gaming Alpha as we move in, maybe looking for a little bit more of a well-rounded team comp, and we're gonna have to see if they go for that as we do start the draft off.
Yeah, we've got currently sort of a very similar beginning to how last draft played out. See, the Ezreal does get taken away as well as the Ashe, so no Ezreal in this game, no consistent long range poke coming out. Omega Gaming Alpha focusing hard into the AD carry role here. And I'd like to see how this Braum gets adapted in the series because it looks like if it's not going to get banned away, then Active Rush have the opportunity to pick up the Braum if DT Nelson wants it. But how comfortable he looked in game number one on the Nautilus, I don't think there's any pressure for them to take it here.
Yeah, certainly has a wide champion pool, and I actually really like the Kha'Zix ban from Omega Gaming Alpha as well. IPR Acid has been somebody who can bring the pain to other teams if he's left unchecked, and Kha'Zix is one of those snowbally sorts of junglers that can completely take over a game. I really like them sort of denying that win condition. If Active Rush wanted to go for it, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, but try again. Yes, I agree with what you said, Diatra. That IPR Acid is really a make or break style jungler, and Kha'Zix fits that playstyle exceptionally well. Something I want to mention though is that Active Rush have got their hands on the Caitlyn pick. It was banned away
Hmm.
in game number one. For me, Caitlyn is the S tier ADC right now. I'll say S plus tier ADC because there are a lot of the S tier ADCs you see. Ashe and Ezreal have been banned away. Blah blah blah. Caitlyn, for me, just sits another tier above those guys. And getting your hands on the Caitlyn, getting your hands on the Braum to accompany it as well. Comfort pick for VT Nelson. We talked about it consistently. But it's really easy for the Caitlyn to get traps down off of the Winter's Bite. And that is a Twitch in the bot lane. That's Twitch.
I'm I'm so ready for it. As we actually have the Olaf and the Twitch both potentially enabled by the Karma, so I really like the way that they're allowing this draft to play out. It's going to be strong no matter what sort of direction they choose to pivot in. But the last pick of the Twitch tells me that there's going to be a lot of focus on the bot side once again.
Yeah, and immediately, we talked about the adaptation we wanted to see from Alpha. Already, I can see that their early game is a lot stronger. They've got Olaf over Lee Sin, and yes, Lee Sin is a really strong early game jungler, but there is no stronger early game jungler than the Olaf. Maybe you could argue Volley Bear and, how your team collapses, things like that might alter it, but Volley Bear is still up for grabs here, so we might see that answered. Olaf, though, incredibly strong in 1 versus 1s, 2 versus 2s, early skirmishes, and things like that. So already. We've got a slightly different take on a same style comp with the Lulu picked up though. It feels like we've
Ooh.
reverted back to game number one in terms of protect rapid fire, and I'd like to. I'm happy with the adaptation. Lee Sin, Olaf over Lee Sin feels for me a direct upgrade.
Yeah, and we are, other than that, running it really straight back. Twitch not going to be nearly as safe as something like the Zaya, but does have even more hyper carry potential. And honestly, Active Rush not itemizing nearly as much into dive, especially banning things like the Ornn and the Malphite. I think that they want to be kiting back away from things like the Olaf in this game, and will actually. Okay, I think I'm getting trolled by that Jarvan hover. Volibear seems much more realistic here. But we're gonna have to see if they're able to play sort of this disengaged style, and especially the last pick for Omega Gaming Alpha here, determining whether they can pull those go buttons or not effectively is going to be really big.
Yeah, so currently they're really lacking engage. Their engage is just put shields on Olaf and watch Olaf run at you.
Mm.
They need to decide what they're doing with the comp with this pick. They either want to go in or they want to find something that'll help them go back out. The Doctor Mundo fits the fits the press R and go in mentality absolutely perfectly. Um, yeah, this is a great pick to round out the comp and fits the identity of the Alpha squad, the Alpha comp so far, right? As I just alluded to, their engage is just put speed buffs onto Dr. Mundo and watch Dr. Mundo run at you. And then Twitch appears from a fog of war angle. It's perfect. It's not
Yeah,
perfect
and
by any means, but I mean, you know what I'm saying, that the comp fits.
You can see it coming together in your mind. It is beautiful.
Yes, you see the win condition and you see how the fights play out.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and honestly, I really like this draft from Omega Gaming Alpha because I feel like it responds to what I feel like was their problem last game, where after Zaya was dead, there was really nothing going on. Whereas this game, you've got to pay attention to Mundo, you've got to pay attention to Olaf before they take away your backline, and you're left with nothing as well. Even if you are diving straight onto the Twitch, not nearly as much dive coming up from Active Rush either. Does tell me that they probably want to play this one a little bit more front to back.
Yeah, so often I talk about in dive comps, for example, going with at least two dive champions. I feel like this time Active Rush are a little bit lacking in that. They've sort of drafted the Volley Bear last pick and just taken a really high priority champion, but not really drafted too much in terms of drafting with the Volley Bear, because the Volley Bear is going to jump in and then maybe gets an Oriana shield to support, and maybe Braum jumps into the front line to help him out. But that Braum needs to be in the back line protecting against the Mundo and the Olaf. So the Volibear's going to jump in, and it feels like he's probably going to be in a isolated area for the majority of it. Maybe there's just going to be no backline to jump into, because I can also see the world where Alpha just send the two bruisers into the front line. Twitch appears from another side of the map, and there's just no backline for the Volibear to jump onto, and he's just hitting two supports when it feels like he could be hitting damage dealers instead. But we'll have to see how the game plays out, because this is definitely a better take from Alpha for me at least.
Yeah, certainly Riddles showed us that he was able to get his position really well on your traditional style of AD carry, but Twitch can sort of take that third dimension of positioning, trying to find those flanking angles that AD carries traditionally are not looking for. That I think will challenge this player and this team to play in a really different and interesting way.
Agreed. The potential side angles, everything coming out of the Twitch enables a lot of unique play, and Doctor Mundo also not something that we see too often. Um, Fits into this comp perfectly. In the top lane matchup, might be able to neutralize the Volley Bear, because it's quite easy for Doctor Mundo to just sort of go even if he needs to. Can farm up with those cleavers, finds it fairly easy to sustain himself with the cleaver spam, able to last hit from a distance as well. And looks like we're going to see a Lulu in the mid lane. I didn't know which way we were going to go with it, but it looks like Lulu's going to go mid, Karma's going to go support. The sort of unanswered question of the draft so far. We'll have to see if Prides can pride himself once again on his support play.
And honestly, I wouldn't be bothered either way, even if they swapped them. I do feel like it's going to be a slightly stronger lane with something like the Lulu and Twitch being paired together, but also her having that income in the mid lane is going to be in bigger spikes for the Twitch, as he will have those items to buff him up coming from both Karma and Lulu as we hit these fights. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring our attention to was on the side of Active Rush, because of the amount of AD carry buffing that we have going on the side of Omega Gaming Alpha, the Graves is kind of the biggest question mark here for me, because I don't really feel like he slots into this draft, and maybe you have a little bit more insight as to why that might be, but I feel like this is kind of an off-color pick for them.
I think maybe not for them, but in this composition in general, that maybe Graves isn't the ideal pick to slot into their comp. I think the reason that they've gone for it is something that will be able to not get as punished in the early game by the Olaf. So the win condition, or one avenue of approach for Alpha, is that they play through Olaf early on, they roam with Lulu, and Olaf punishes the enemy jungler and essentially make it a 4 versus 5. Feels like if you pick Graves, you really neutralize that threat quite substantially. Yes, Hunby's still going to have the advantage, and yes, he's still going to probably win the duels, but it's a lot easier for Acid to farm, negotiate the jungle matchup if he's playing Graves than if he was playing something more immobile, more team oriented or anything like that.
I see. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, and actually speaking a little bit about the Graves and the jungle matchup in general, we saw last game, Hunby pick up the Lee Sin in response to a Hecarim from Pure Acid, and Hecarim traditionally not having as much early game say, whereas Lee Sin very traditionally early game champion. We saw go 0-5-0 with no kill participation during this game. Olaf certainly a little bit more of a pick for securing those kills, but it is going to be him who has the say in this early game, is going to be able to chase down laners, even like the Volibear, the Caitlyn, the Braum, is going to be able to show up in these lanes and cause quite a bit of havoc. And I think that I'm personally Not that they necessarily need it to win, but just in terms of good play, I want to see this from Omega Gaming Alpha and from Hunby in particular.
Yeah, I give you that. I agree again entirely that we need Hunby to step up again because, as you mentioned, had a rough game number one. Was on an early game champion, was going to be enabled to do so, and Olaf is a pick that I feel like fits the same playstyle as Lee Sin, just does it a little bit better in the current meta. He's going to be able to go for the early objectives, the early dragons, find advantages in that way. He's going to be able to secure the neutral objectives and get a nice farm income going for himself. It's going to be whether or not he can stay relevant though, because we saw it on the Lee Sin that he really wasn't able to. Olaf versus this composition though does look pretty nice because yes, Active Rush have got a nice little bit of disengage with the Caitlyn traps and the nets and all that sort of good stuff with Brawn passive going to come through. But Olaf just ignores all of that when he's in Ragnarok. It feels like he can and might be able to find a nice execution in the team fights because he's going to have Mundo running through as well. So, I talked about dive buddies earlier. Yes, this isn't your classic dive, but they want to go into the backline and going together, they're going to find a lot of success.
Yeah, I really like this pivot from Omega Gaming Alpha. We're going to have to see if this sort of sidestep into a similar playstyle does actually net them the game win and take us to that third game, though. Because remember that if Active Rush end up taking this game, they will take the series here and boot out Omega Gaming Alpha from the playoffs. So we're going to have to keep our eye on whether Omega Gaming Alpha is playing with that in mind and playing at the top of the game. We are going to be able to see that right after a short break, wherein we will load into the Summoner's Rift. We'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to Game 2 of the Focus Propel Series playoffs. My name is Diatriba and I am joined by Rudude. This game we are going to have, of course, Omega Gaming Alpha gracing us from the top side, the red side of the map, and Active Rush is going to be coming at us from the bot side. Both teams with a 5-man spread this game, no 5-man pile-ups in a brush this time. And it looks like we're going to see a lot of safe play early on in the game. We see a lot of teleports for both sides here. And this is going to say a lot about lane priority, methinks.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yes. Words are failing me so far. Lane priority is something that's going to be really important in this game because Hunby on this Olaf is going to be looking to make things happen, and if he doesn't have priority in his side lanes, in the mid lane as well, in all of his lanes essentially, he's going to find it really difficult to get the early advantage. The issue that I think he's going to have is that Rapid Fire and Oxy down on the bot side aren't going to have the priority unless Oxy's able to really assert some dominance early on, because in the AD carry matchup, Caitlyn in lane is going to severely outrange the Twitch and be able to put down a world of pain on Rapid Fire, and you can see that already with the fact that he's gone D-Shield, expecting his lane to be pretty rough, expecting it early on to not really be as favoured for him as you'd like. So maybe look to Hunby to play more to the top side, get this Candyman Prim on Mundo ahead, get Prize into a position where he can maybe keep even farm with the Orianna, because yes, these support star champions, you don't expect them to farm as well, but we're at a fairly decent level of play right here. We want our mid laners to be hitting 8, 9, 10 CS per minute, and last game he was significantly further behind that than we'd like.
Yeah, Orianna will have Lulu will actually have a little bit of an easier time farming than that Soraka. And speaking of the bot lane priority, we see Oxy having gone Comet as well to try and do a little bit of that work for his AD carry. Will proc it down to the bot lane to try and get a little bit of poke onto Harry Augie, and Rapid Fire is going to be able to sit back pretty safely, is even in CS right now, and the mid lane wave not doing anything too special as we see level 2s hit here, and Braum Caitlyn level 2 is a possibility for an engage. Level 2 going to be hit as well, but no wave for them to hide behind here will mean that they're zoned off just a little bit.
Yeah, now Caitlyn has the traps. It feels really difficult for Alpha to step up, because if any form of connection from VT Nelson hits, Caitlyn would like to step up, try and get something.
Look at the top side. It looks like we're going to have, a flash in from the Volibear and a flash in from the Graves as well. Will secure the first blood onto Hunby, caught in his own jungle there. Beautiful ward from the Volibear will actually end up netting them a kill early on in a place where Olaf does not expect to be caught.
Oh, that's really bad for Hunby. Losing your buffs early and then also dying as an Olaf early on. He's going to be in a really difficult position as the game proceeds. He's going to need to try and find something really quickly, find some advantage ASAP, because otherwise this is going to be another one of those games where Hunby just really doesn't find any success. Maybe an engage here.
He could try and find an advantage in the bot lane, as we will see a whole engage come out. Looks like the trap won't actually find Rapid Fire, and now Hunby is looking to chase him down. Nice slow from Oxy. Will get the Olaf even closer. Is going to be slowed down though, and VT Nelson is going to be able to jump onto his Caitlyn and to safety. Nice safe play there from the side of Active Rush. Will keep them alive and well, and Olaf really hurting right now.
Yeah, he's gone for the bot lane crab, or he's gone for the bot crab, sacrifice taking it immediately so that he could do that gank, but Graves is it here.
And Orianna has mid lane priority. He should just be zoned off of this here. We see him walking away, and Graves is going to be able to take that scuttle crab.
Yeah, so Olaf right here got double crabbed, lost both of his buffs after dying at the red buff due to an invade. So right now, Hunby is in a really difficult spot, as I say once again. 4v5 scenarios are going to be presenting themselves very quickly if he's not able to find some avenue of engage. It's really rough right here.
Yeah, that oh my god, that ward was so beautiful, and the commitment from the Volibear and the Graves together, netting the Graves that early on kill is going to mean so much for them, and I think it's really nice team play from the side of Active Rush to be able to find such a seemingly out of nowhere advantage.
Yeah, and that really has snowballed the game to the point where we're at already. We're 1,000 gold up. You look across the lanes, yes, there's a slight CS advantage on the top side, but mid and bot, not really too much going on. It's all off of that kill and off of the snowballed double crab that will proceed and that will come from here. I want to talk about quickly that, you talk about it being nice team play from Active Rush. Maybe something for Alpha to look back on and Alpha to work on a little bit there, because Candyman Prim will have noticed that Rutledge was missing for a large portion of time. And the fact that they didn't have any vision on the invade into their own jungle. So that also comes down to mid lane as well. Pride wasn't in a position to put a ward down around the lower side of the red buff. So they would have seen Graves walk in on that ward. They would have also seen Volibear go in on a ward on Try. Well, this could be a fight here for
Graves might be caught out here. Double teleports being channeled, as we will actually have somebody showing up closer here, and Volibear is going to jump straight onto Pride, who does not have a lot of damage at this point in the game. Oxy is going to be taken down in the meantime, though. Caitlyn doing a boatload of damage, and Nightfan barely taking any damage himself will mean that Pure Acid is going to be able to secure this Drake for himself and his team, despite being contested by the Olaf there.
Yep, he gets the Drake for himself. They also get a quick kill onto Oxy as well. And this game proceeds to snowball. We're sat now 1400 gold Ocean Drake going the way of Active Rush. Nice teleports from both of the top laners there. Nice to see that we've got some team commitment coming through. Neither top laner hesitant really on that call. But it feels like right now the early game power is definitely going the way of Active Rush.
Yeah, they've put themselves in a really nice position early on, and I think that's recognizing a lot of the mid-game power that things like the Olaf and like the Mundo, if they're left to go even, have, especially into a composition with things like the Caitlyn, the Graves that want to be able to kite back. Olaf Mundo being able to run onto your face is going to be really difficult for them. Looks like Rapid Fire could be looking for something here, as he has gone invisible, but not a lot to be found as Caitlyn Braum playing pretty safe, and Candyman Prim farming in the top lane will actually pop the ultimate here and start running at the Volibear. Hunby has shown up, is only level 4, and the Volibear ult away. No axe pickup will mean that he can't continue to slow him down, and just finding a lot of nothing is Hunby right now.
Yeah, he gets an attempted gank on the top side, does burn the ultimate from Rutledge, so there is going to be a slight avenue later on for Candyman Prim to maybe try and run him down a little bit, and kind of questioning the immediate pickup from Rutledge. Yes, he went for the early Barmy Cinder, but I feel like versus a Dr. Mundo that the early Bramble Vest really is just going to be significantly more impactful, because Mundo's auto attacks deal a lot of damage. Significant portion of his trade pattern is used in his E, as we see Pure Acid bot.
Yeah, it looks like Oxy's just going to be taken down here. He's going to be stunned up and bursted by Pure Acid. Harry Augie going to pick up that kill for himself. Now sitting in a nice 2-0 into this Twitch lane is going to be able to bully him out even more. And it looks like they're looking to make Hunby's life even worse by walking in for that blue buff.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to take the entire bot side jungle here if they choose to do so. Hunby is in no position to counter. Oxy is going to be walking nearby, and you see Harry Augie, he knows exactly what he wants. He walks up, puts a ward down. They might leave him his wolves, spare him that much at the very least. But nice to see actually Hunby finding something else. He's going to go up, get this Herald on the top side. We'll have to see whether or not a response does come through, but I feel like with all the pressure in the bot side jungle from Active Rush, he's going to be able to get a Herald here, which is nice.
Yeah, and with that Herald, I think it's it's going to be a lot about finding advantages for the lane that is important. Whether he decides to use it in top for to liberate the Mundo to move around the map, or whether he chooses to use it in bot to get a little bit of an advantage back for Twitch, who otherwise is not doing super great in this lane. Is going relatively even, but down 2 kills means that he is going to have a little bit less impact. I would hate if they used a bit though. That's where I draw the line.
I think that the issue that Alpha are going to have is that no matter where they use it, they're only going to get the charge off at this point. We're really looking for Hunby to get a really successful gank off. And by successful, I mean they need the kill out of it, because they're going to need to at least force the laner back so that they can put the Herald down and have enough time to take the entire turret, because all 3 turrets from Active Rush have got 5 plates up. So putting the Herald down will only take down sort of 2 plates maximum. They need to get themselves up to the turret, get 3 plates down originally off their own back, and then place the Herald after that as well. That's a lot of time that they need, and won't be something that they'll be able to do just off of a forced recall or anything like that. So we're looking for Hunby here to once again just keep talking about this, make something happen on the map, as Pure Acid shows his face on the top side.
Looks like he's getting a little bored farming the jungle there. Goes for a short trade on a Candyman Prim, but realistically wasn't going to find anything, as they may find each other in this brush here instead. Looks like Pure Acid wants to take the fight here. Candyman Prim is confident in his own abilities, though. He's going to pop his ultimate and actually walk away now. Bolivar looking to clean up that kill. Is going to force the flash on a Candyman Prim, now sitting with no ultimate and no flash there. Could look to be capitalized on. Prides is rotated up here, but I don't think they're going to find anything on this Volibear, and oh, the ultimate used from their Olaf is going to feel super bad.
It just feels like desperation plays from Hunby. I feel like, short of him burning his flash originally there was no way he was ever going to get anything out of that engage. Would have had to flash Q to slow, and then, oh, this could be a re-engage here on the top side with Rutledge overextending.
Good find. It actually finds the axe there. No reset just yet, but Candyman Prim is here with the slows. Does actually force the flash out of Rutledge as well, so at least evening that one out a little bit, as they've both burned now ultimate and flash. One of a lot of kill pressure on either side.
Yeah, and then the counter to this return gank from Hunby means that he didn't get the reset. isn't going to be in position for this Infernal Drake, which has now spawned. And the bot lane of Active Rush is in a brilliant position. They've pushed up their previous wave, set up just a little bit of vision in the enemy jungle, and they're in a great spot now to walk up and take this Infernal Drake. Looks like slight congestion, maybe.
Yeah, we see a small contest there from Rapid Fire and Oxy, knowing that they don't have their jungler with them, can't poke their heads in too far yet. But it looks like they might actually be looking to catch Hunby in the jungle. Lulu is around for this fight, but they're going to choose to use that currency for mid lane priority instead and get Hunby to maybe flash onto Harry. Augie here is going to force the flash and the heal out of him as well. Nice capitalization from Hunby, even though he has had a little bit of difficulty in this game finding a play there to put the enemy AD carry at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, where did you say you didn't want Herald to be used? Was it?
It was mid. It was mid.
It was mid. Okay, we're good.
Yeah,
I
we're
couldn't
good right
quite
now.
recall.
Mid laner has rotated down here, and we might actually see a disadvantageous fight. 320 gold in the pocket of the Olaf there, as Rapid Fire is almost going to be able to find his way out. Does have to flash there, as really nice ball positioning from the Orianna threatens his life. Now is going to be able to use the ultimate, though, if he wishes to. Olaf is running forward, but he is way too far away from his team and will just be taken down. Looks like they're looking for the turn on the side of Active Rush. No flash from the side of Volibear. But just jump under this tower, though. Doesn't have the ultimate available just yet to shut it down. And Candyman Prim is taking 0 damage from this Caitlyn, as the Mundo loves to do. Ultimate still available for Rapid Fire, though.
Yeah, he hasn't got an angle to go in, though. Candyman isn't stepping far enough forward for it to be an effective use of the rat-tat here. It's the spray and pray now, I do apologise, but yeah, either way, Twitch didn't get an angle, didn't get an opportunity to open up the trap.
The trap!
Oxy even knew, I think he went on with a shield on himself, knowing that he was going to stand on it and just thinking that he'd be able to survive. Caitlyn's got 2 AD items, she's got the makings of the Infinity Edge. Completing the Infinity Edge doesn't give you any more AD, by the way. It just gives you 5% crit chance and the multiplier.
Oh, there's the ultimate from the Volibear is up now, and Twitch will be taken down straight under his turret, as will the Mundo. That is a clean triple for the side of Active Rush. Graves picking up a double, and that means that 4 members in total did end up going down in this bot lane trade, as will the turret, and that is a huge play in the favor of Active Rush.
Yeah, that is incredible. Knowing the limits of their champions there, you know, yes, Volibear, very obvious that he just turns off turrets and it becomes easy to dive, but the fact that they committed to that as a cohesive unit really speaks to Active Rush and their cohesiveness as a team. They go underneath the turret, they pick up 3 kills for themselves. They've now got synchronized recalls in lieu of this spawning Rift Herald. I say that as Pure Acid decides he wants to take a red buff before he goes back. I think he's earned it. 4-0-3. 87.5 kill participation. He's doing very well for himself.
Yeah, and actually, interestingly, Caitlyn sitting at the same kill participation does tell us a lot about the way that the bot lane has been involved in most of these plays. Even with Graves being able to find a lot of advantages in other lanes, especially when we think about that top lane play, where he was able to burn a lot out of the Mundo, get a lot out of the Olaf as well. Most of the actual kills, especially given that last play, have been centered around bot lane action.
Yeah, and you know, it was really Oxy ruining the 100% KP dream for IPO, because he stood on the trap and essentially gave all of the kill credit over to Harry Augie. But you know, either way, you know, the jungler has felt himself, or has been feeling himself this entire series. He showed up in game number 1, and this game number 2 is no exception either. Nightfan might be in a little bit of a predicament, but VT Nelson is nearby.
Yeah, looks like he's feeling confident, though. Does end up throwing out the command attack there onto Rapid Fire, and now flashes forward. Actually does manage to pick up Rapid Fire just at the edge of that shockwave, and the flash forward from VT Nelson is going to be a little bit over-ambitious, honestly, but we're, you know, Oxy's going to get out with his life, and that was a really nice play from Nightfan to be able to find that kill.
Yeah, it goes forward, picks up another kill onto Rapid Fire. When he's got this man immune build as well, dying becomes even worse than it already is, because whilst you're dead, you can't stack your mana immune, you can't be firing out those auto attacks, which enables you to get to that mirror mana so much quicker. Just delays himself getting to that power spike by another minute, and for Alpha in this game, every second is important, not just every minute, it is every second, because this game is snowballing rapidly out of their control. They're 7,000 gold down, going to be 8,000, or actually take it since it's 7,000 with the the completion of that mid-tier 1. Herald getting called as well. They're on the verge of getting perfect game here by Active Rush.
Yeah, looks like they're looking to take this mid tower down. Rutledge is here as well, has the ultimate to disable any turrets, and they could actually just look to dive this. Since Mundo isn't here right now, they have a lot of damage at their disposal. Nightfan's Shockwave is up, and Rapid Fire shows over the wall. Looks like Nightfan could look for the orb onto him, but instead will let that charge, and they'll go and pick up the Windstrake. Windstrake normally is going to be something that we're looking at as, oh, you know, not going to be a super high action game. But even with that Dragon, I think that we're just looking at faster, cleaner plays from Active Rush, as they've already been so dominant this game.
Yeah, it just enables them to do their... enables them even more than they already were, because this is going to enable them to turn off turrets faster, enables them to use Shockwave on a lower cooldown. You know, they're going to find a lot of picks a lot faster. It really just gives them a little buff that they really didn't need to take this game home. We're sat still 8,000 gold deficit for Omega Gaming Alpha. The item disparities across the board, you know, quite palpable. We've got completed BF Sword, or completed Infinity Edge in BF Sword, which is a significant gold advantage going the way of the Caitlyn. You know, completed Sorcerer's Shoes, and likely going to be either the Liand or the Haunting Guys or the Oblivion Orb here for Orianna. You look at the jungle, there's going to be a Black Cleaver once IPR Acid bases. Everywhere is an advantage for Active Rush. There's no real shining hope for Omega Gaming Alpha here. Maybe you could argue that Candyman is in a position to keep tanking, because he's got himself the Sunfire Cape and the Ninja Tabby, so he's going to be quite tanky in the team fights. But it's not enough for him to just be tanky. He also needs the backline to back him up as well. And at this point, it's not there at the minute. This Lulu build, it isn't something that I'd have liked to have seen, because the Ludens is the Lulu damage isn't palpable enough, and Candyman.
Oh my god, Candyman actually almost goes down in that play. Really nice Caitlyn play from Harryagi. Actually gets both traps and the net onto him there, and takes him down quite low. Is going to be able to heal up himself. But I really love that you touched on the Lulu items there, because this feels so bad in a comp that is so Twitch focused, to have Twitch not only be down, but you know, you look at the bot lane items and you just see a Fiendish Codex and Swifties sitting in for the Karma, and no support items on the Lulu is going to mean that Twitch, who's already behind, is going to be doing so much less, because your composition act doesn't have the items to support him were he even.
Yeah, it's not being ideal. This is
dive here. Rutledge is going to disable that turret, and they're just going to jump straight out of the Karma, end up picking up 2 members, and a third will fall. Rapid Fire outlasting under the turret, but will not be able to do enough damage, even with the spray and pray there. That is a clean ace, and honestly, that is, even if they don't end it here, that spells doom completely for the side of Omega Gaming Alpha.
Yeah, you're in no position to defend that turret as well. That turret in particular, renowned for how difficult it is to defend if you are behind. For exactly that reason, it's incredibly easy to get flanked, to get pincered if you decide to sit under that turret. They get flanked on, the Volibear turns off the turret, and they just get melted underneath the power of Shockwave, the power of the Volibear ultimate as well. You know, Rapid Fire was left alive for the longest time, but he didn't really do any meaningful damage to Active Rush. And now it just feels like a matter of dotting your I's and crossing your T's. If you're Active Rush, you've got 2 minutes on the Wind Soul. You've got Baron respawn, or not respawning, but spawning for the first time just now. You know, they have a lot of opportunities to make things happen in the next 2 minutes. If they need Cloud Soul, if they need Baron, they can go for it. And oh well, that was just rude.
It feels really bad right now for everyone. As like you talked about, we're gonna have the Baron spawning and Cloud going to be up soon. But honestly, I think that they can continue forcing these fights. I don't even think that they necessarily need somebody like Rutledge at the Baron, and can continue to put down a lot of top pressure. As Candyman Prim, as much as he's able to go even, hasn't really been a part of this game at all in the way that we expected.
No,
there it goes.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a Baron startup. I don't know that this would be the one world where Omega Gaming came back into the game. catching Active Rush while they were weakened by the Baron and maybe taking a fight here. But they're just in no position to do so. Humby is going to be spotted out long before he reaches the pit. There's a trap on the other side, and by the time he even gets there, I think it's going to be too late.
Oh yeah, and there goes the Volibear as well. Looks like, oh, he
Oh!
actually steals it! Oh my god, Olaf coming in clutch actually does end up picking up the Baron, and that should allow them to stall out for just a little bit longer. There is still a lot of power on the side of Active Rush, but a really nice play from Humby there will end up keeping Omega Gaming Alpha in this game for just a second more.
Okay, so if Omega Gaming Alpha's chances of winning previously were 1%, they've increased to maybe 5% now.
Yeah.
Yes, they steal away the Baron. They're still 10,000 gold behind, and they're still not able to halt the siege here from Active Rush. They're gonna maybe fight around this inhibitor.
It
Looks
should,
like...
yeah, it should keep them from losing the entirety of their base just now, especially because Wind Dragon is up is going to be the much safer bet for Active Rush. You don't want to be giving up a lot of kills potentially into an overextension that you've given the enemy team Baron over. And I mean, they should pick up this dragon relatively easily. We'll just be waiting the next 6 minutes until Elder, if they even need to wait that long. Honestly, with the cooldown reduction on their ultimates, could just continue to force plays. And this Baron, as much as it brings life back into this team, it is just barely, what's it called? It's like stabilizing them in Dungeons and Dragons. They're technically there, but they're still at 0 hit points.
Yeah, that's the perfect analogy, really, because the game is still incredibly difficult for Omega Gaming Alpha. It still feels like the game is really out of their control, with the win soul as well picked up, and Harry with the best 800 gold that I've seen spent so far this series, picks up the Executioner's Calling versus a Dr. Mundo. It's
Oh,
the
and
bread
looks
and
like,
butter.
speaking of Dr. Mundo, going to be getting a lot of use out of the Executioner's Calling as they're looking to take him down. Olaf flashes into the front line, but Harry is untouched and is going to be able to perhaps take down the Dr. Mundo. Instead, Olaf going to fall first, then followed by Dr. Mundo. Oriana ends up grabbing that kill, and Oxy will be picked up by Harry Augie finally, as he's been able to sit back and do quite a bit of damage for quite a long time. And now we should see the end of the game, even into the Baron here. Twitch not going to be able to do too much, although the health bars are a little bit low. Could look for a nice spray and pray, but the ultimate isn't up for him just yet. And this seems like a push for the end of the game. Lulu and Twitch are going to be looking for the angle, but not going to be found into Night Rush, who's trying to zone out Rapid Fire here. And they will end up finding the Lulu in her own Nexus, as the last hits should come onto the Nexus here, and that will be a very clean 2-0 going over to the side of Active Rush, eliminating Omega Gaming Alpha from the playoffs.
20 kills to 0.
Oh.
A complete stomp from Active Rush. They absolutely dominate Omega Gaming Alpha in this series. Apart from the fact they lost one Rift Herald and something happened around 21 minutes that we got a bit hyped up about, that was a perfect game for Active Rush. Can't really ask too much more from them than that. There's not a lot to say. That last team fight, Twitch was free hitting the entire time. He had his ultimate active, was pretty much untouched. He got knocked up by the Glacial Fissure, I noticed, from VT Nelson, so really nice placement from him. But other than that, as soon as he landed, he was free hitting the entire time, managed to dodge out the shockwave, didn't fall to that shockwave in that instance, but he didn't have the items. He had Mana Immune, which wasn't at that point upgraded, and a Runeance Hurricane. He wasn't able to cut through anybody from Active Rush, and he was, like I say, whilst he was pumping out all that damage, it was nowhere near enough to take them anywhere near a teamfight victory.
No, absolutely not. And honestly, really good play from Active Rush in both games to abuse what they knew were the win conditions from Omega Gaming Alpha. Being able to punish the Olaf, especially in game 2 early on, stood out to me as something that was super heads up by them. And like you talked about, a little bit of miscommunication on the side of Omega Gaming Alpha is something they can look to fix. But I mean, as we sort of load out of the game and out of the series here, it's important to recognize good play when we see good play, and that was clean from Active Rush.
Yeah, super precise gameplay. They did everything that they needed to, and as I say, dot the I's and cross the T's. They do that near flawlessly. They get themselves the win. Drake. They go for the Baron. They don't end up finding it, but at the end of the day, they get the win. They get 20 kills to boot as well, and they're gonna advance into the, I believe, the quarterfinals now of the Propel series.
Yeah, they will be. Active Rush will be playing against one of either EQ Light or Exile Esports that is being streamed on the Focus Propel League, I believe, right now. So they'll be playing against whoever wins one of those games, and you're correct, into the quarterfinals here. As we'll be looking to see who takes the Focus Propel series after this. Active Rush certainly looking quite strong. And with that, that's going to be our stream for today. Unless you have anything else to say to us, Rudude. My
No,
name
no,
has
you've
been
done a
Jastropa. Yeah,
exactly. You've done a
wonderful.
wonderful job. Thank you for joining me on the desk here today. Just shout outs to all of the players for trying good efforts from Alpha this entire series. They've done a wonderful job, not just in this series, but in the league as well, really doing well in their league. And congratulations once again to Active Rush. Go on and show your dominance in the rest of this league because, with that level of gameplay, there's no reason for, at least for me, to say that they can't go a very long way in this series. So, with all that being said and done, however, I've been Rudude1. I've been joined on the desk by the Outroper. We're gonna throw it out here. We're gonna host Focus Esports so that we can show you guys the game that the Outroper was just talking about. So just give us a little minute. We'll send you over there. And we hope you all have a wonderful evening and enjoy the last bit of your weekend. Thank you very much. Peace.